Broad Street Sports, the best Philly sports podcast.
That was an old school ass whooping. The Eagles abused the Cowboys. Our defense ate them alive. 4 turnovers tonight. Kenny Pickett and Tanner McKee torched their defense. I mean, it was ridiculous. The Cowboys suck. They suck, and they suck. They stood no chance. And the fact that Philly fans were scared and afraid about the Cowboys this week. I mean, are you serious? Have you looked at this Cowboys team? They look scared. They looked like they stood no chance. They looked like they didn't want to be there. It was the best. Then Jerry Jones, I don't even know why he was here. He came in and our fans chirped the hell out of him. He got eaten alive too. That was the best possible equation on a Dallas game day imaginable. You beat the shit out of them. You wore them down. You won the NFC East. And you torched and ate Jerry Jones alive. That's the best possible equation. The best possible equation was that. It was that right there. It was that right there. They stood no chance coming in here. The defense played outstanding. Everybody was saying, because I was saying this online, I said, I have no worries when it comes to this Eagles versus Dallas game. No worries. I have that much faith in my Eagles team. It turned out to work in my favor. And what I said worked. What I said turned out to be correct. Simple as that. Oh, my God. There's nothing better than sitting down on your couch and watching the Cowboys, the Eagles, destroy the Cowboys. Destroy. They had no life. The little speck of life that the Cowboys had in them, the Eagles sucked out of them on the first drive of the game. With that GJ interception, CJ Gardner-Johnson interception. They sucked the life out of the Cowboys. Right then and there. Simple as that. There's a lot to get into, a lot of good stuff, a lot of happy stuff. I know I'm not always like the happiest when it comes to the Eagles and Philly sports as a whole. I can't complain with this Eagles team. I can't complain. Now, I know this was a big bounce back after what happened last week. A huge bounce back. You knew you weren't going to have Jalen into the game. You knew you weren't going to have him. And then, Friday they announced that Jalen's ruled out, which is good. Because you don't want to rush him back when you don't have to. And, so they bounced back. They made the adjustments. They allowed Kenny Pickett to have a full week of rest, a full week of preparation ahead of a big game. Now, I know the Cowboys are not, a big powerhouse. They're not as good this year. They're not fighting for a playoff spot. So it kind of sucked the life out of what this Eagles versus Dallas matchup usually is like and is. But it doesn't matter. Eagles versus Dallas at home in Philly is the game that is circled on the calendar every year. Every year. No matter if the Eagles are good, no matter if Dallas is good, doesn't matter. This is circled on your calendar. This game means that much. And you showed up. The fans showed up. The coaches showed up. And you gave them an old school NFC East ass whooping. That's all you could have done. That's all you could have done. Now, so let's get into this one here. The defense. Let's start strong. Let's start strong, folks. The defense. Let's start with the defense. The defense was great. After the defense snapped back, after that I wouldn't say bad, but underwhelming performance in Washington. They bounced back. The Eagles defense bounced back after the underwhelming play in Washington. It's what it is. The Eagles defense snapped back after the underwhelming play in Washington. They got 4 turnovers tonight, and that's 9 in the past 2 games. You had 9 turnovers in the past 2 games. You would have never have saw that last year. You would have never have saw that. They showed up to play. They wanted to be there. They wanted to make a statement. Simple as that. Simple as that, man. They wanted to make a statement. They showed up. They played hard. They played physical. Now it took them a couple of drives to really get going there. They couldn't really stop the run early, but other than that, I mean, Dallas stood no chance. They stood no chance. I mean, it's ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Now, here's the thing. C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I don't know if this is going to get enough talking about that this week. C.J. Gardner-Johnson. C.J. Gardner-Johnson also had a bounce back after getting ejected down in Washington. Whether it was his fault or not, he came into this week, got 2 picks, played outstanding, was all over the field, was physical, was played out of his mind. He made up for the mistakes that he had in Washington. That's all you could have asked for. He made the adjustments, he prepared, and he wanted to be there for the team. He wanted to make up for what happened down in Washington. Now we can debate and say what happened down in Washington was his fault or not his fault. Doesn't matter. C.J. Gardner-Johnson bounced back after what happened in Washington after getting ejected down there. And then came in, got 2 picks, put out of his mind, was all over the pit, played physical. I was very proud and very, very, very happy with what I saw out of CJ. Simple as that. Simple as that. The defense put out of their mind. As they usually do. As they usually have been. So I'm very, very, very happy about that. So just to wrap up about the defense, because I mean they only gave up 7 points. Ridiculous. It's quite frankly ridiculous what we have seen out of these guys. So just to reiterate again before we close out the defense here. The defense had a snapback game after the underwhelming play down in Washington. They came in, they got 4 turnovers on Dallas. I mean, they just were ripping the ball out of their hands. It was ridiculous. Every time a Dallas player caught the ball, it was down on the field, and you had Cooper DeJean, the ball hawk that he is, on top of it and getting the ball for the Eagles. It's what it was. The Eagles have had 9 turnovers in the past 2 weeks. 5 in Washington, 4 versus Dallas. That's all you can ask for. Put your offense, put the team in a position to score, put the team in a position to win. 4 turnovers goes a long way, and you saw it tonight. It sucked the life out of Dallas. It sucked the life out of them. They stood no chance. Stood not a lick of chance. What it is, folks. That's just what it is. I don't know what else you want to ask for out of your defense. All right, let's switch to the offensive side of the football. Let's start here. Now, this is probably an angle that you guys probably wouldn't think I'm going to go to here. Let's go to the tush push. Everybody all over the NFL was saying the tush push could only be done with Jalen Hurts. Oh, Jalen Hurts is what makes the tush push. You saw firsthand that the Eagles are that good at the tush push that even Kenny Pickett got a tush push touchdown. He got about, 2 first downs with the tush push, and then he got the touchdown with the tush push. It was ridiculous. So I don't want to hear people say, "Oh well, only Jalen Hurts can be the quarterback to do the tush push." No. Kenny Pickett did it, and Kenny Pickett, folks, did it with ease. Simple as that. So I'm tired of these people all over the NFL, all over these fan bases saying, "Oh my God, well, Jalen Hurts is the only reason why the Eagles were able to do the tush push." Yeah, he's a major reason. But we're so good at doing it, and so physical, and so violent, and so fast, and so strong, that it doesn't matter who's back there. They're going to score, and they're going to get the first down. They're going to do whatever. The tush push is a cheat code for any quarterback that the Eagles put out there. Simple as that. Simple as that. I mean, it's just, it's ridiculous. And then, so just staying on the Kenny Pickett topic here. Kenny Pickett went 10 for 15, 143 yards with 1 touchdown. Guy played well. Again, the guy played well. Again, I mean, we could say whatever we want, but for a backup quarterback, he played very well. So just want to say this. I am tired of that Kenny Pickett slander. All week I had to hear all these guys saying, "Oh, well, we should start Tanner McKee. Kenny Pickett sucks. We're going to lose versus Dallas because of Kenny Pickett." Kenny Pickett came in and played extremely well. He torched the Dallas defense. His long ball was working very well. He was able to read the defense. He was able to find the check down. He was able to find any receiver. Now, he did fall down. He looked like he got tackled by a ghost. But Kenny Pickett deserves an apology from all of you guys. I'm one of the guys that actually stood up for Kenny Pickett and said he didn't play that bad against Washington. And he only played much better versus Dallas as he did in Washington. He had the full week to prepare. He knew he was going to start. Now, did he play out great? Was he like MVP level? No. But for a backup quarterback that's getting a start against an NFC rival, he did exactly what he had to do. He was poised. He was confident. He threw the ball with conviction. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. He deserves an apology from all of you. All of you that ever doubted Kenny Pickett. Now, I'm not saying that this guy is Nick Foles. I'm not saying that this guy's Nick Foles. But I am saying that the guy deserves some respect. That's what it is. The guy deserves respect. He played well. He played well in Washington. He won you that football game in Washington if it wasn't for Devontae Smith dropping the ball and Saquon Barkley. And he halfway won you a game tonight because, the defense helped you out big time. So, put respect on Kenny Pickett. Tanner McKee also played really well. Tanner McKee got in at the end of the game when Kenny Pickett got taken out. 3 for 4, 2 touchdown passes and 54 passes. Tanner McKee's very good. Tanner McKee is very good. I don't know how to describe it. But he's poised, he's confident, and it doesn't look like things get to him very easily. He doesn't get frustrated. That's good. That's what you want. The young guy, everybody was put him in quotation marks because of how if he'd be able to play, if he'd be able to play well, whatever the case may be. Because you only really seen him play in preseason. He played out of his mind, folks. Played out of his mind. Played very well as well. One last thing. One of my last statements here. Devontae Smith. I mean, this guy, Devontae Smith played out of his mind as well. Devontae Smith had a bounce back game after his bad drop and costly drop down there in Washington. So let's go. Let's say this. Devontae Smith had a bounce back game after the huge drop in Washington. He goes out there today, 120 yards, 6 receptions, and 2 touchdowns. He was all over the field too. But you saw that he was the main guy in the Eagles' game plan. You wanted to get his confidence back up. Not saying that he lost confidence, but you wanted to make sure that he knew he was still a very good player. You wanted to get him in the game plan. You wanted to get him working, and you did just that. He worked himself back into what we know he is and can be after that costly drop down there in Washington. I don't think that's going to get enough talking about either, is the fact that Devontae Smith had a huge bounce back game. He did. It's simple as that. He had a huge bounce back game. It was good. It's good to see. It's good to see because I love Devontae Smith just like everybody else loves Devontae Smith. But you can't, as a star receiver and a number one receiver on a lot of teams in the NFL, that's a costly drop, what he did down there in Washington. And the fact that he was able to bounce back, 120 yards, 6 receptions, 2 touchdowns, with Kenny Pickett as a quarterback. Let's go. Let's go. So, again, Kenny Pickett. I'm like in love with Kenny Pickett. I'm in love with the guy. Look, Devontae Smith had a huge bounce back game after his big misplay in Washington. 120 yards, 2 touchdowns, all over the field. It's exactly what you want to see out of him. He knew what he did wrong. The Eagles saw that. And they built the game plan around him, tried to get his confidence back to 100%. And not saying that he lost confidence in himself as a player, but when you drop a ball like that, costly, at the end of the game, to win a football game and you drop it, that messes with you a little bit. Kenny Pickett had faith in Devontae Smith, and so did the Eagles coaching staff. That was very good on their part, and I don't think that's going to get enough talking about. Devontae Smith, what a bounce back game. What a bounce back game. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So now switching to our last guy here, Saquon Barkley. This guy is just, I can't find the exact word to describe how I feel about Saquon Barkley. Is he the greatest thing to ever happen to the Eagles? Maybe. Is he the MVP? Hopefully. Probably. He's that important to this Eagles team. So I just want to say, because I'm trying to find the words, I'm trying to find the exact word to come up with here to describe Saquon. Because, well, he's the greatest thing to happen to this Eagles team. He's the greatest thing to happen to this Eagles team. It's ridiculous. So that's what I'm going to do. It may be outlandish. It may be way out there. But I'm just going to say it anyway. Saquon Barkley is the greatest thing to happen to this Eagles team. The greatest thing to happen to this Eagles team. 2,000 rushing yards. And he becomes the 9th player to ever rush for 2,000. Oh, did I say? Well, hold on. I don't even know. It's ridiculous to think about. This is ridiculous to think about. 2,000 rushing yards for Saquon Barkley. When he came to Philly, I knew he was going to be a big thing. I knew he was going to be that important to the team. I didn't think 2,000 rushing yards was going to be in the equation. So here it is. So Saquon Barkley, 2,000 rushing yards, and is the 9th player to do so in the NFL ever to ever do it. Saquon Barkley in his first year as an Eagle, 2,000 rushing yards. I mean, it's ridiculous. I can't find other words to describe Saquon Barkley. It's just, I mean, it's ridiculous. This guy's important. This guy is the biggest difference maker the Eagles have had on this team in a long, long, long time. It's ridiculous. So I have 2 clips that I want to play. But, so I have 2 clips that I want to play, both of them being Sirianni. And so the first clip that I'm going to play is Nick Sirianni talking about how he's talking about his thoughts that Saquon Barkley being the 9th player in the NFL ever to rush for over 2,000 rushing yards. Let's take a listen.
Imagine they're pretty special names. Saquon's pretty special. This offensive line's pretty special. This offense is pretty special. And so, when something, I know that the guys were excited when that happened, it's a cool thing to be a part of. Anytime you can be a part of something special, that's what's cool about being a part of a team.
What is CJ's interception?
Yeah, I mean, he said it best. Now, here's the thing. The thing about all of this is the fact that obviously Saquon Barkley is the guy that this is about. Being at 2,000 rushing yards is something that a running back can wish for and dream about, right? But this 2,000 rushing yard thing stretches much past just Saquon Barkley. And it's nice to see that the team cares and loves that Saquon got this as much as Saquon does. This is like the first time I can say that this Eagles team is really like a brotherhood. That this team is really brothers in arms together. It's the first time that I can actually say that about this Eagles team. And I'm happy that I am able to say this about the team. Because it's great. It's great. So I'm glad that the Eagles that the team as a whole is taking this for themselves, taking this as a team, that this is just not like just a Saquon Barkley award or a Saquon Barkley accomplishment, but an entire team accomplishment. Because Saquon Barkley really was able to get it because of how good our Eagles' offensive line is, right? So let's keep that in consideration as well. So I also have one last clip to play here. And this is because the big topic this week is going to be will Saquon Barkley be allowed to play in the final week against the New York Giants to get his top I'm drawing a blank, to set the single season rushing record. So obviously that's a big decision for Nick Sirianni. It's a big decision for the coaching staff, and it's a big decision for Saquon Barkley. Because you're at the point right now where you don't know if you're ever going to get that accomplishment, if you're ever going to be able to get to this point again. So, do you want to go for it? I say yes. Let's listen to what Sirianni has to say.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. A lot of things to play out. We'll see where we are in a couple of days.
What do you think the main factors are you thinking about that?
There's a lot that goes into it, and like I said, there's some things that we'll see. We'll watch some games tonight and see how things are going, and then we'll do what we need to do. What's right for the football. I always got to do what's right for the football team to reach our goals of what we need to do. And like I said, I got a lot to think about, and I'm gonna enjoy this, and then I'll think about it tonight at some point.
Yeah, I mean that's great right there. That's great. That's great. You have to watch how these games play out. Got to see how everything else plays out, and because you don't just want to make an assumption. I think, now this is just what I want to say before I wrap this up. I promise I'm getting done, guys. If it was me, Saquon Barkley has to go for the rushing record. He has to do it. Now, obviously, Sirianni and the coaching staff have a big decision coming up about this. And not just Sirianni and the coaching staff, but Saquon Barkley as well. But when I look at this, and I look at this award that he could get, this accomplishment that he will get, you have to look at it through the lens of how hard it was and how long it took him to get to this. And then the fact that he may never get to this point again. Now, Saquon Barkley is a once-in-a-lifetime generational talent. But you have to say, will he be able to get to this rushing record again? Be as close as he is to it right now. 100 rushing yards away. I'm going for that award. I'm going for that accomplishment. He has to do it. I think the team is going to do it, but I think a lot plays out with how the rest of these games are going to go with Detroit and Minnesota. But you have to go for it. You don't know if you're ever going to get back to this position again. You don't know if you're ever going to be here again. You have to do it. You have to do this. You have to do it. I think he plays the first half of the game. I think they're going to see how this is going to go. I think that they're going to see how this plays out. I think they're going to put him in there and just see how everything plays out. But I would be surprised if he plays the second half of that football game next Sunday against Washington. But, I mean, Saquon Barkley is the greatest thing to happen to this Eagles team. We could say whatever we want about Saquon Barkley and how important he is. But to be able to rush for 2,000 rushing yards and be the 9th player ever in the NFL to do it, it's ridiculous. It's a crazy accomplishment, and he has to go for that prestigious accomplishment. And I keep saying award. I don't really know if it's a award, but it's at least an accomplishment. And I definitely think that he has to go out and do it. I hope that they do it. I think they're going to do it. But that's that. I've touched on everything that I personally want to touch on. So, big game, a huge win. I'm glad that we won. Very good win. I'm happy. I'm fired up. Screw Dallas. Let's go. Go Birds. This team's hot, man. This team's going to go on a serious run. I think that they are destined for a Super Bowl. If you would have told me, early in the year that this is where we would be, I would call you friggin' ridiculous. But we are here. I'm glad that we're here. But, But thank you all for tuning in. I love and appreciate every single one of you. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment. Send this to people you know. And leave a comment down below. If you think Saquon Barkley should go for the rushing record. Thank you all for tuning in. I love and appreciate every single one of you. Have a good one.